Hi there, my name's King Martin. People know me as Arch on Warcraft, and this is our rough guide to Iron Reaver in Hellfire Citadel on the PTR as it currently stands. It was up available for testing last night, so we had a bit of a go at it. Currently, it's in a good place. Obviously the PTR is there for them to test the numbers. I think right as it stands, we were testing the heroic versions. That's the only version that was available. And the numbers seem like they're in the right place to where they should be. Certain mechanics deal with substantial amount of damage. Some of them, perhaps maybe the barrage shouldn't one-shot you on heroic. Maybe that should be a one-shot on mythic. But we'll see how they want it to go. So let's go through the encounter itself. First of all, this is a two-phase fight. You've got the ground phase and the air phase. Now, the ground phase is where you'll be doing damage to the boss. The air phase, you won't be DPSing the boss. She builds up energy throughout the time that she's on the ground phase, and when she reaches 100 energy, that is when she will take off into the air. Now, on the ground phase, you've got several mechanics to deal with, all incredibly easy. It's actually a very straightforward boss. First of all, you have Immolation, which is fire patches on the floor. If you stand in this, you will receive a debuff, which is not dispellable, which gives you a ticking dot. If you then, this stacks, so if you stand in it too long, you stand in too many different fire patches, you will get more and more stacks of this debuff, and you will eventually take an unhealable amount of damage. So, as always with Warcraft, stay out of the fire. He does another attack called Unstable Orb, which is quite hard to see, but he basically just fires fire at you, and it hits you. At first you might think, oh shit, it's an immolation, I need to move out, but it's not. It's just the fire disappears like sort of instantaneously, so that's how you know you're not in an immolation. And this will deal damage to you and everybody within 8 yards, and you receive a debuff, which again does stacking dot damage, so you need to make sure that you're all sped out at least 8 yards so that no more than one person receives this debuff per cast. Otherwise, if you start stacking this debuff, if you get more than 2 or 3, then it's going to kill you pretty much. So you have to stay spread the whole time. She does this ability called Barrage, which is currently pretty much an insta-kill. It does for about 410,000 damage, so you can survive it if you pop some sort of cooldown, but it's incredibly easy to get out of. She does sort of a cone attack. She'll announce it and she'll charge it. It's about, you maybe get 2 or 3 seconds, maybe about 3-second cast, and then she'll do a cone of fire in front of her, very similar to Chromog's attack. At the minute, it's a bit difficult to see where she's actually going to cast it. The animation of her body and then where the fire comes out can be a bit tricky to gauge. I remember when I was doing it a couple of times, like, it looked like it's going to be in front of her, so I ran to the right, and it sort of went off a bit to the right, and then it looked like it's going to be to the left, so I ran to the left, and sometimes it's a bit sketchy, so I don't know whether that's going to be changed and fixed for the live, or whether it's just going to be a case of you're just going to have to figure it out better. So that's easily avoidable and must be avoided, otherwise you will die. And there's also in the ground phase, it's a tank ability. In the air phase, it's an everybody ability, so we'll just worry about it for the ground phase for now. So for the ground phase, it's a tank ability. It's called Artillery Strike, and she will target one of the tanks, and after about 15 seconds, I believe it is, she'll fire an artillery strike at you. Now, this will deal a huge amount of damage to everybody in the raid. I think it does about 300 or 1,000 damage to everybody. However, the further you are away from her when it impacts you as a marked target, the less damage it will do to everybody. So as a tank, when you get this debuff, you have to run as far away as possible from the raid. I'm pretty sure people are gonna find the actual maximum distance you need to run. I don't know whether it's going to have some sort of cap, in maybe it's like 30 yards, and anything over 30 yards is just unnecessary distance. But yeah, for now, just run as far away as you possibly can. And then there's a final attack, which is called Blitz, and for that she will target a player, which is usually, as always, a ranged or a healer, and she will charge at them. And then anybody she hits between where she originally was and where the target player was, she will deal damage to them and pick them up and take them with her and leave a debuff on them, which does ticking damage. And then she will, as soon as she finishes that, she will immediately cast Blitz again on another target. It looks to me like she does it back to where she came from, but that could have just been pure coincidence that that's how it worked. But that's all the ground phase mechanics, so it's actually fairly straightforward. You have, and of course there's also pound. She will then periodically cast pounding, which is, if you remember XT Deconstructor from Ulduar, she just hits the ground, 15,000 damage to everybody every half a second for like 6 seconds or something like that. So, it's not a huge amount of damage, but if people have got dots already ticking from other stuff, then you're going to need to possibly use a cooldown or something like that and just get some healing going to cover that. That's the ground phase. It's all very straightforward. It's very simple. You just have to move out of the most damaging abilities. It's quite easy in terms of execution. Then the air phase, she'll then take off to the air when she hits 100 energy, and she will receive 95% damage reduction taken. So at this point, you won't be DPSing the boss. Most of the time, she's going to be out of range anyway because she'll be flying around. But at this point, she will now cast artillery on everybody. So it could be on anybody. It's not just a tank debuff now. So whoever gets artillery, you have to run as far away as you can to mitigate the damage as much as possible for everybody. She will then fly back and forth, dropping all sticky oil puddles on the floor in a line, going from left to right or right to left across the room. This will give you quite a substantial movement debuff, so when you see that coming, you need to move out of it as soon as you can, ideally before it lands, or as soon as it's landed, get out of it as fast as you can, because very shortly after that, as soon as she's finished laying the oil, she'll turn around and she'll come back and she'll ignite it, and this will do a lot of damage. So you do not want to be standing in the fire, and you don't want to be in the oil, because the oil is then going to be set on fire. She will do this 3 times, and all 3 lines of fire will stay up for the entire air phase. They don't dissipate until she lands again. So you will be running out of room. Well, not exactly running out of room. She does 3, and it looks like there's room for about 6. So you're going to be on about 50% space left by the end of it. She will also be firing down these bombs. It looks like 3 at a time, but that could be dependent on your raid size. And these bombs, currently on the PTR, I'm pretty sure they're not scaling anywhere near correctly. They only had about 250,000 health. But considering the mechanic of it is that you have 45 seconds to kill them, otherwise they explode for a massive amount of damage on the raid, I can imagine that 275 is going to be scaled up considerably, because 45 seconds to do 270,000 damage is very, very comfortable. There, you will spend a lot of time just sitting around. So I imagine that's not going to be the live health value. Other than that, in the air phase, there's only one more thing to worry about, and that is when she lands. Now, when she lands, she will target a player and land on top of them, and there will be a very big 30-yard radius screen circle around the person that's targeted where she's going to land. Now, when that circle appears, everybody has to get the fuck out immediately. When she lands, she will do 75,000 damage to everybody in the room, but anybody inside of that circle will die, because she'll do 1.7 million to anybody inside the circle. So if you're inside the circle, you're dead. Like, there is no mitigating it, there is no saving it. I don't know, maybe dispersion might about do it. I don't know whether it's 99% or 9%. But just get out. It's a huge circle, you've got plenty of time, just don't be in it when she lands. Now that is the air phase. That's both phases. So this will rinse and repeat probably about 3 times, looking at the duration of each phase. Total, so you probably have 3 ground, 3 air phases, considering she does sort of 3 poundings and 3 waves. I'm getting a rule of 3 here, so All in all, it's quite a good fight. It's quite nice. It's a bit annoying because she charges around a lot of the time, so casters will find that they're out of range all of a sudden without any kind of warning, and it can be a pain in the ass. So just be on your toes for that. Be on your toes for barrage. Don't stand in fire. Stay spread out, and then in the air phase, kill bombs. It's very, very, very simple. So that's all there is to say on that fight. I hope this helped anybody. If it did, like, subscribe, comment, anything like that. I will be doing more as they release more bosses for testing. So come back for any future bosses, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.